Elly Schlein. Elly.
Thanks a lot, Linda. Thanks, Commissioner, for this comprehensive overview of what has been done and what still needs to be done. Three, I hope, quick points. The first one, it is clear that in the new political circumstances at the global level, we have a higher responsibility now as the EU to lead by example in terms both of humanitarian aid and development, because otherwise nobody else would probably engage in such an effort. The second point, we see, I heard this morning our colleague Charles Goerens being very frustrated by the fact that so many governments take so many commitments at the international level and then they do not put the money, and there is no political will to actually go forward in these commitments. So we have to confront this situation. The second point, humanitarian response within the EU. You mentioned before the help in Greece that we supported, obviously, but I think that more still needs to be done, especially in the Mediterranean route. I will be tireless in repeating myself by saying that we need a strong European response in terms of search and rescue operation. We know that the operation at sea, like Sophia or a Triton, are already saving lives, but they still lack a full humanitarian mandate. In order to do so, it will be better to have such things. The third point, we went to Uganda in a mission that already Linda has mentioned before. 1.4, it is said, 1.4 million refugees are in Uganda. Uganda has a progressive policy that you know already because you probably have been there already, and it's an open doors policy in which also the refugees are given a plot of land to work on, and they show a great solidarity. And what we witnessed is a strong solidarity. I just tell you what the leader of the local community told us in a settlement in the northern part of Uganda. He said, we are welcoming our brothers, Lola was there as well, we are welcoming them and decided to share with them our land and to work it together so that one day they will be able to go back to their home country and not as beggars, but with dignity. So this could be a strong example for many of our European governments, I think. At the same time, we visited a number of projects funded by ECHO and DEVCO and the EU Trust Fund to promote social cohesion, to support in many different ways, both to refugees and the local community. This is an important approach also to avoid social tension. But and our people are doing a very great efforts and putting in place very important projects, life-changing projects, but at the same time the crisis is deeply underfunded right now. We know that in the comprehensive refugee response only 6% has been already funded. So if you take into consideration the regional instability with the situation in Congo worsening, the situation in Burundi which is also worrying, the situation in South Sudan which is also unfortunately very dramatic, there is a risk that they will not be able to keep this very progressive policy. We need to support even more, and particularly on health, particularly on food, because also the World Food Programme is experiencing serious difficulties in continuing to providing food ratios. Otherwise, they will have to lower the food ratios by June, which would be a disaster. And also with education, we are already helping, but still on secondary education, much more needs to be done, not to steal the future of these children. 86% of all the refugees there are women and children, so even in a more vulnerable situation. And the last point is, as Linda already pointed out, probably we need to make a serious reflection on a multi-year humanitarian funding, because it's real when you see a situation like the one in Uganda, where it is a mid-term or long-term permanence. Of course, the actors we are helping and supporting with our funding need to be able to plan in a mid- and long-term perspective. So, thanks a lot.